Yeah, baby. That's it. I got him going.
That is so cool.
But the History Channel was showing the men that killed Kennedy, and they were getting into the different conspiracies and what have you, blah, blah, blah.
Shot the man in Bethesda.
Navy captain. I don't know where it was, but yeah, they said the guy shot him. And then they had a guy came on and said that that's what his job was, and he was the one that shot him.
Well, the one I saw, the guy said that he was in it.
A very important person that basically was here at the birth of our country, and I wanted to basically ask George Washington, who managed to make it here, a little bit about the Constitution, a little bit about the Second Amendment, his views on the Second Amendment. I think you might be interested in his views on that. You may not be aware of how he might have looked at this and what side of the fence he was on when our Constitution was being created. So let me introduce the President of the United States, George Washington. As you'll see, he's a very eloquent, very intelligent person. And please talk to us about the Second Amendment and what you think of that and what you think of what happened today.
Well, I must say, those are very kind words that you introduced me with. You do me much honor. And I must tell you, I was at first inclined to decline the great honor of addressing you. I've never considered myself a great public speaker like Mr. Henry or Mr. Lee, nor have I ever earned the laurels of a scholar. It is my wish that one of the learned gentlemen at the Constitutional Convention could be here to discuss these fine points with you. I served as president of that convention, but I can honestly say I was probably the least educated man there. I used my leadership by stepping back and letting the learned gentlemen discuss. As I have walked amongst you today, as a leader should, to learn the genius of the people, I have heard many things that are disturbing and many that are hopeful. What is disturbing is a view that, although not shared by all of you, seems to be prevalent amongst the general population. And that is the view that the Second Amendment allows you the right to carry guns. The Second Amendment does not allow you the right to carry guns. The Constitution of the United States does not allow you any rights. The document starts out as "we the people," and it is a document that spells out what the people allow the government to do. To take the view that the government is allowing us something is to give the government more power than it has. I myself was opposed to the Bill of Rights because of this very reason. I felt that in future ages there might be those who will say, well, then these are the only rights the people have. And then, of course, the lawyers and the politicians would take hold of these simple words and twist them. And as Mr. Madison called it, the paper tiger of the Constitution could be swept aside and someone could come to power. The Bill of Rights serves only to clarify and magnify those rights which are most important. The right to bear arms is one of the most important rights we have. Now, to me, I find it amazing. The document is so obvious that it scarce admits of discussion. We must have the right to arm ourselves. I can carry a cane to defend myself. It is a natural right given to us by the divine creator of the universe. It is also important that in our type of government, the people can act as a deterrent to oppressive government. As Mr. Madison and others have pointed out, there can never be a standing army so large that they can stand against the combined masses of the people who are armed in opposition to them. And those who are in the standing army, many of them will take their duties as citizens seriously and not fire upon their brethren. And indeed, the future will show that I was just following my orders is not a defense for oppression.
Amen.
In general, then, you must stand up and do what you are now doing. You are using your right to petition your government, to express yourselves. It is not just your right, it is your duty to stand and tell people how you feel. Because if they can remove this most obvious of rights, then the rest of them will follow shortly, and you will have no rights at all. The Constitution is your only safeguard. Jealously guard against anyone who would change it by ways other than what are recommended in the document itself, whether it be by judicial fiat or by special provision. This is important because no matter how much the pretext of change may be beneficial for the moment, once the precedent has been set, then others in the future will use that precedent, and their desires and motivations may not be so kindly. And if we go too far, then we will have nothing to protect us against the tyrants who wish to take away everything that you have. I can only say that I did not fight in the war for myself or my family only. I did not spend 8 years in the field watching soldiers die, not to give this grand experiment in liberty that we have its fullest attempt at success. We cannot accomplish everything in my generation, and symbols are important. I will point out two to you. On the Great Sill, it is an unfinished pyramid, the base of which has been laid by my generation. It is to the future, to finish the work that we have started under the eye of the grand architect of the universe. And we have given you a document which can help you succeed in that. And more specifically to your purpose here, I point to a symbol we borrowed from the Iroquois Confederation, that of an eagle clutching a brace of arrows. One arrow, standing alone, can be broken by any man. But if you gather 13 or more and gather them together in one bunch, no man can break them. And it is up to you to provide the education to your fellows who are not paying attention to the affairs of state. And if you can succeed in doing this, then you will be worthy bearers of the torch of liberty which has been passed down to you. Because I charge you with this: if you cannot make from this a great, happy, and prosperous nation, with the gift of liberty that was won for you by your forebears in battle, and in such a country as we have, with its great natural gifts, if you cannot make from this a great, happy, and prosperous nation, then you will have only yourselves to blame. Thank you. I will say I hated the office of the presidency.
You ought to see it now.
Oh, there are times when I'm glad I'm no longer in the Washington area.